says in verse 3, so all therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not after their works, for they say and they do not. So he says, look, everything that they tell you to do, you should still do it. That's what I was just saying. We want to love God. Yeah, we want to obey him. Yes, we should follow him. Yes, we should live for him. We should witness. We should pray. We should go to church. We should do Bible study. We should get in the word. We should help the homeless. Yes, we should do all of that. But I should do that because I should not do that with the attitude of or else. Because then it's not for him. I'm just trying to stop the or else. And that's really for me. Uh-huh.
It says, but do not do what they do, for they not practice what they preach.
They just talking about all of these dudes, do, and you ain't done nothing. You just like me. You don't want to do it. God got to make you willing. He got to work in your heart to give you a heart to do that. You putting all these rules on the cat, and it's like, man, okay, yeah. But I'm not going to go witness till the Lord tell me, go out there and witness. I'm not going. And if I go out there, listen to this, if I go out there because you trying to force me, that ain't honoring God. I'm doing that for you. So you can get off my back and leave me alone. I can look like I'm being holy and spiritual. And do you know about Jesus? Look how I'm saying, you know about Jesus? I ain't doing it with no passion, no realness, not being led by the Spirit. I'm just doing it to check it off my list. So verse 4 says, for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne and lay them on men's shoulders. But they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. Wow. He said they put all of this stuff for you to do, but they ain't done none of that. Ain't gonna. They don't even have the heart to do it. Look at the next verse. It says, but all of their works they do to be seen of men.
It's all about the show and tell.
They make broad their, and that's just talking about their robes and all of that stuff, and enlarge the borders of their garments. So it says, look, they doing everything they do to be seen. See, that ain't having a heart for God. That ain't having a heart to want to honor him in the secret place. I'm in communion with him. I don't care who see it. I don't care if, and see, check this out. This is how sinful the human heart is. Somebody was telling me before, he says that this is how you know you're operating in you. He says, if you do something that is extremely great, like if you, and nobody saw it, watch how your heart is going to war with you to make sure you make everybody know that you did it and how it went down. That's the human heart. We want to be looked at and praised and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop and all of that. That's the heart. And so it's a struggle that, and I find God teaching me in certain ways that sometimes stuff may happen and that person didn't even do it. Like, I know I did it, but they getting like, it's a, like, don't even say you did it. Like, you're going to let them take it. Like, that's, like, I feel the fight in me. Like, I want to say, but I just, and so it's been some times where he didn't won that battle, though. Like, I had the dialogue with him in my heart while the conversation was going that I should step in and say, you ain't do that. You know that was, but then who would that point to? Oh, me? Why do I need the credit? It got done. It worked out. It's all good. But the Lord got to fight with our hearts on that. Because the human heart by itself, it want to be seen and praised and thought well of, and God got to fight those things. Because if that's your number one mode of operation, then that means he going to take a back seat to you every time. He'll take a back seat to you because you got to get, you want to shine. You don't want him to shine, you want to shine. And so he don't want nobody. He says, I will not share my glory with another. So in verse 6, and they love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues. They want to be sitting in the spot where everybody can see them. They looking holy, looking like a stack of Bibles. Like, that's their whole focus. They in church. Look, he is speaking about their heart. He is giving a revelation of what's in them. He like, okay, I know y'all see them and they look like they, but this is what's in them, though. This is what the attitude and the heartbeat of these kind of cats who don't recognize that it's all about me. that I did it all from start to finish. See, check this out. When you haven't been brought to land on that and your heart been brought to agree that it's all because of what he has done, you're going to have a hard time managing yourself. Because in yourself, you still think it's part of what you got to do, and you doing some stuff, so you should get some credit and some glory. It's like an automatic next step. He did his part. I'm doing my part. Don't you see me?
Yeah, but when you do it to serve God and because you want to be like Christ-like. But I would say, if I did something like that, if there was any credit to be given, isn't God the one that would give it to me?
You shouldn't get no credit.
No, I'm saying, if there was any credit to be given.
It ain't none to be given to you.
I'm not saying I was seeking any. I'm saying
right.
If there was any to be given, wouldn't he be the one to pay me what he owes me if there was anything owed? Because he said he would pay everybody what he owes me.
Yeah, he's already paid us. We have been paid. Our account is overflowing.
He will pay you what he owes you. God got a sense of humor. Make no mistake about it.
So listen what I'm saying, though. As we talking about the heart and living for God and doing deeds, what I'm talking about is we don't deserve no credit. Now, if the people want to, like, for example, Pastor had appreciation. People was thanking God for the service that this man has rendered him and his wife for 25 years. And so that is an honor. But check this out. Somebody had to throw that for him. You feel me? Like, it wasn't something he, like, let's set this up. Yeah. And so, again, it wasn't him putting himself in a position to make sure he got some credit. It wasn't him fighting for no credit. I mean, his heart may have been, listen to me for a second, his heart may have been in year 16 saying, these people don't know what I've been going through to be, you know what I'm saying, to be what I got to be. And he could have said that in his heart. But that don't mean he going to say, well, man, I need to throw myself a benefit. I want to make sure they recognize what I've been doing. It took somebody else outside of this church to say, man, we recognize your labor of love for the people of God in the kingdom, and we just want to bring people together to say thank you to God for what he had, listen to this, what he had to do in you to make you be faithful to that. That's humongous. Paul said, I endure all things for the sake of the elect. What did he have to endure? The cat was getting beat in this city because he was preaching Christ. He'd get right up and go preach in the next city. The cat was getting threw in jail, put in prison for doing not nothing wrong, but for just telling people about Jesus. So he said, man, I will gladly endure this so I can get to the people that's supposed to hear the gospel and be brought to believe. So he said, look, man, so you can't do that if you seeking credit and respect and people to think well of you, like you'll give up. Because you know what your heart will say? I don't deserve this. Why I got to go through all this? Because you trying to do something to be, and so the people ain't thinking well of him when he come into a nation that serve and worship rocks and windows and statues and all, and he come in saying, that ain't it, it's this. That made him mad. But he endured all of that so that Christ would be glorified. And in verse number 7, and they love also greetings in the markets, and to be called of men rabbi, rabbi, which means teacher, teacher. So he said, look, they love for people to shout them out in the big old public. Hey, preacher, what's going on, preacher? How you doing over there, man? He said they love that. They crave that is what he's saying. He's not necessarily saying, first of all, that any kind of these things is wrong. If you get sat in the front seat, get sat in the front seat. But it's a different thing when your heart craving it and you mad because somebody else sitting in it. They sitting in the seat, you like, you sitting in the service, somebody preaching the word, and all you thinking about is he ain't supposed to be sitting over there. That's my seat.
In other words, when you try to put yourself there, it's different when somebody else doing it when you do it.
So he says, Jesus, now speaking of that heart, he says in verse 8, but be not ye called rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ, and you are all brethren. So he says, man, don't crave a desire to be called something. I'm the real teacher. Jesus talking. I'm the one that's the teacher. Any credit is supposed to come to me. I think that's how he's given me, at least in my heart, to pray. I know that no man can teach his people. I know that. I know that there's no man on this earth that can bring his people to understand who he is apart from him doing the work. Now, a man can present information and get the facts out there, but it's him that makes you hear it and be like, yes, that's it. I agree with that. Amen. I don't know where the agreement came from, but somewhere